419 Mindsets of a Scammer. This is an educational project that teaches about numerous methods scammers, fraudsters uses upon their victims, and also it helps to create public awareness and preventive measures that can be taken to protect themselves from being a victim of scams. AwarenessX is your first line of defense against scams. What is inheritance scam? An inheritance scam is a type of fraudulent activity in which scammers attempt to deceive individuals into believing that they are entitled to a large sum of money or valuable assets left behind by a deceased person. The scammers typically claim to be lawyers, representatives of a bank, or even family members of the deceased, and they reach out to potential victims through various means such as emails, letters, phone calls, or even social media. The main objective of an inheritance scam is to convince the victim to provide personal information, financial details, or upfront fees in order to facilitate the release of the supposed inheritance. The scammers may use elaborate stories, official-looking documents, and emotional manipulation to make their claims seem convincing. They often prey on the victim's desire to receive unexpected financial gain, exploiting their vulnerability and trust. Once the victim has provided the requested information or fees, the scammers disappear, leaving the victim with financial losses and no actual inheritance. In some cases, the scammers might continue to ask for additional payments under various pretexts, stringing the victim along with false promises. Types of inheritance scam. Inheritance scams can take various forms, and scammers continually come up with new tactics to deceive individuals. Here are some common types of inheritance scams. The impersonator scam. In this scam, the fraudster impersonates a lawyer, bank official, or government representative and claims that you are the beneficiary of a substantial inheritance from a deceased relative you may or may not have heard of. They then request personal information, fees, or taxes to facilitate the release of the inheritance. The distant relative scam. Scammers claim to be distant relatives of the deceased and inform you that you are the rightful heir to a large estate. They may send fake family trees or genealogical information to make their story appear legitimate. They then ask for fees or personal information to process the inheritance. The lottery or prize inheritance scam. In this variant, scammers inform you that you've won a lottery or sweepstakes tied to an inheritance. They request upfront fees or taxes to release your winnings, which, in reality, do not exist. The unclaimed funds scam. Scammers assert that a deceased person with a similar name to yours has left behind unclaimed funds. They promise to help you access these funds but require fees or personal information from you. The legal process scam. In this scam, the fraudster claims that you've been named as the executor of a will or estate and need to engage their services to navigate the legal process. They'll charge hefty fees for their services, but provide little or no actual assistance. The email or letter scam. You might receive unsolicited emails or letters claiming that a long-lost relative has passed away, and you're the beneficiary of their estate. The message often contains instructions to respond urgently. The fake documentation scam. Scammers may provide convincing-looking legal documents, wills, or certificates to support their claims. These documents are often fraudulent and should be verified by legal professionals. The romance inheritance scam. In some cases, scammers build romantic relationships with victims online and then introduce the inheritance story as a way to gain trust. They may later ask for money or personal information. The foreign inheritance scam. Scammers claim that a wealthy foreign relative has left you an inheritance, but due to foreign laws and taxes, you need to pay substantial fees to claim it. The investment opportunity scam. Scammers might present the inheritance as an investment opportunity with guaranteed returns, enticing you to invest your own money to access the supposed inheritance. How to avoid being a victim of inheritance scam. To avoid becoming a victim of an inheritance scam, you can take several precautions to protect yourself from fraudulent schemes. Here are some steps you can take. Be skeptical of unsolicited communication. If you receive an unexpected email, letter, phone call, or social media message claiming that you are entitled to an inheritance from a distant relative or someone you don't know, be cautious. Scammers often initiate contact this way. Verify the identity. Before sharing any personal information or engaging further, verify the identity of the person or organization contacting you. Look up official contact information for banks, law firms, or government agencies and reach out to them directly using their official channels to confirm the legitimacy of the claim. Don't share personal or financial information. Avoid sharing sensitive personal information, bank account details, or any other financial information with anyone who contacts you unexpectedly. Legitimate entities would not ask for such information in initial communications. Question the story. Be critical of the details and stories presented to you. Scammers often use emotional manipulation or complex narratives to make their claims seem believable. If something sounds too good to be true or seems suspicious, it probably is. Research online. Use search engines and online resources to research the individuals, organizations, or companies contacting you. Look for any reports of scams associated with their names or contact details. Check for official documentation. If you're presented with legal documents, certificates, or other paperwork, verify their authenticity. Consult with a lawyer or legal expert to confirm if the documents are legitimate. Avoid upfront fees. Scammers often ask for upfront fees to cover processing, legal fees, or taxes related to releasing the supposed inheritance. Legitimate inheritance matters don't usually require you to pay fees upfront. Slow down and take time. Scammers often pressure victims to act quickly. Don't rush into making any decisions. Take your time to research, consult with professionals, and make an informed choice. Consult professionals. If you're unsure about the legitimacy of an inheritance claim, consult with a trusted financial advisor, attorney, or law enforcement agency. They can help you assess the situation and guide you in the right direction. Educate yourself. Stay informed about common scams and fraud tactics. The more you know, the better equipped you'll be to recognize and avoid potential scams. Report suspicious activity. If you believe you've encountered an inheritance scam, report it to your local law enforcement agency and relevant consumer protection authorities. By reporting such scams, you can help prevent others from falling victim as well. Conclusion. To avoid falling victim to inheritance scams, it's important to be cautious when dealing with unsolicited communications related to inheritance matters. Always verify the legitimacy of the communication and the individuals involved, especially if you are asked to provide personal or financial information. Legitimate inheritance matters are typically handled through proper legal channels, and legitimate representatives will not pressure you to make immediate payments or disclose sensitive information. If you suspect you're being targeted by an inheritance scam, it's advisable to seek advice from law enforcement or legal professionals before taking any action.